Well, finally off to the range. It's a little foggy, but I can still see 100 yards. It's not that big of a deal. I just might not be able to see my bullet holes from the bench. But this is a test that I'm pretty excited about, because I've been hunting down a substitute for 8208 XBR for a while, and I'm not sure if I found it, but I've got some options. So we were looking at either Accurate 2230 or X-Terminator, which are both made by Western Powders or marketed by Western Powders, however that works. It seems like X-Terminator and 2230 have the exact same burn rates, but the X-Terminator has a copper fouling reducer added, and the Accurate 2230 had changes in geometry to make it more temp stable. And they're both ball powder, and they're both double base, and we're gonna see how this goes. It's pretty fast. 8208 XBR speed, almost identical in the burn rate. What I don't know is if it's gonna cycle the gun, this 6mmUPC. I don't know if it's gonna cycle the gun because I had some issues with the LT32, and I would like the gun to function more with the faster end of the burn rate chart, so I might have to get back to the barrel manufacturer and have him make a larger gas port. I'd rather have too much gas and have to install an adjustable gas block to dial it down than have not enough gas to use the range of powders that I want this cartridge to use. So that's what we're looking at. We're gonna see if X-Terminator cycles flawlessly even down to the lowest charge with the lightest bullets. Probably not gonna mess with anything. LT32 is too fast for the application. We figured that out with massive pressure signs. So this is where it needs to be. I gotta be able to at least run 8208 XBR, X-Terminator, Accurate 2230. That's like right in the money zone for a lot of people's favorite accuracy loads for varmint hunting and light bullets, etc. So that's what we're looking at. We're headed to the range, and we're gonna see what it does. First round is a load verification for 27.1 grains of reloader 15 in the 75 grain hollow points. And I just want to shoot a 10 shot group from cold clean bore and see how it does. Oh, 2759. Need my writing stuff. Alright, so we're going to start off with analysis of this here. And this was just a verification load of 27.1 grains of reloader 15. And the velocities looked really good. That's right around what we want, especially considering it was 34 degrees outside. And this went into a 1.40 inch 10 shot group, and that was from a clean bare metal cold clean bore. And so the bore was 34 degrees as well. I left everything outside, get an ambient temperature. Next we had a series of 58 grain VMAX loads with the X-Terminator, going from 25.8 to 27.8 grains. We did not max out at a high enough velocity for me to be happy, and groups looked kind of silly up towards the high end, but I'm gonna do a little more work on that and check it out, because I might be able to play with seating depth and get that to be a little bit more optimum. I just went straight to magazine length, so we're gonna goof off there a little bit because I really want this X-Terminator to work. It cycled the gun and locked the bolt back everything functioned well. But our lowest charge rate, we had a 1.33 inch group. Next charge weight at 26.3 grains was 0.93 inches. At 26.8 grains, we had a 1.17 inch 5-shot group with a flyer, and our best forewinded 0.64, which I think is noteworthy. And at our maximum charge, which was 27.8 grains, it just kind of, the wheels fell off. It just didn't look good at all. Excuse me. So that's the max charge. And this is the max charge of 27.8 grains, and the wheels fell off here as well. So, you know, kind of a little stringer with a flyer. It just got ugly, and the velocity didn't quite do what we wanted. With the 75 grain bullets, it seemed to be a similar story. Velocities were low. I definitely need to pump that up a little bit, because I should be hitting at least 2,700 feet per second with all of my 75 grain loads. But we got some really good looking groups. So we got a 0.860, and that was with 25.1 grains of X-Terminator. And we had 25.6 grains of X-Terminator here. And our best forewinded into a 0.90. No idea what this was about. Maybe the gun doesn't like that ammo. It just, ugly group. So then we moved into the 87 grain VMAX, which seems to be a really steady, good looking shooter. These, again, velocities were low. I need to pump this up because we weren't close to max pressure by the analysis of the brass. But we had a 0.96 inch 5-shot group, and this was actually a called flyer on the video. I just wasn't settled in yet and squeezed one off. 402 with a called flyer. It might not have made any difference, but I wasn't settled, and so I called it as a flyer. And so our best forewind is 0.40, so that's really looking good. And our maximum charge with the 87 grainers was 24.3 grains. This is 23.8 grains. At 24.3, we had a 1.20 inch group, which is satisfactory, but not even near our max charge. So I need to do another little short ladder. So I'm going to go from the 24.3 grains up in 0.2 grain increments until I run into pressure. And then for the 75 grain bullets, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to start at 25.6 grains. I'm going to go up 0.2 of a grain increments until I run into pressure, which we should be close there. We should not, we're not quite close here. So that's the target.